So this just happened. Like literally as we were sitting down, I was like, Mark Milley, traitor to the United States. When I'm slamming the table down, and then we're like, oh, Lydia's like, Nicki Minaj was suspended. I was like, oh, this takes precedence.
Yes.
Now, I don't think it's necessarily more important than Mark Milley, a general, calling China and giving them warning about U.S. Plans. But I do think this is significant. One, we're seeing a celebrity. For those that haven't been following, Nicki Minaj is tweeting about the vaccine. She's being lied about left and right in the media, and I think this is a major, what should I say? What was that movie where the guy was in the computer and then there were two pills and one of them woke him up? Whatever that was.
It's about a word I can't say on this thing here.
No, you can say red pill. So it's a major, I was making a joke. It's a major red pill moment for a lot of people to see Nicki Minaj being like, hey, they're lying about me.
She is married, by the way.
Oh, right, on Mrs. Nicki Minaj. And the same thing happened with Kanye. Kanye comes out and says something reasonable, and all of a sudden the media lies about everything. So Kanye came out, I don't know if you guys saw this, and he was talking about the 13th Amendment.
No.
And the 13th Amendment allows slavery in the event of a criminal conviction. Yeah. And so Kanye was like, we got to do away with that. And they were like, Kanye calls for reinstating slavery or something. And he's like, dude, like they really go over the top with it. So we have this tweet. I just picked up whatever random verified Twitter user who had tweeted about it. Okay, who had Nicki Minaj getting locked out of her Twitter account after reposting Tucker Carlson on their 2021 bingo card? Anyone? Nicki Minaj. We got some tweets from her. Stephen Colbert's show. Oh, actually, it looks like CNN actually said this. All right, we got to slow down. This is a crazy story.
Fast developing.
Nicki Minaj tweeted that her cousin didn't want to get the vaccine because his friend got the vaccine and his balls swole up. And then he became impotent and his fiance called off their wedding. It's probably a ridiculous story. I don't think it's true.
Oh, I bet it is true. It's horribly, hilariously horrible, you know?
But true in the sense, like, did the vaccine have anything to do with it?
Right, exactly.
I really, there's nothing on VAERS, like the vaccine adverse event, where they're like, my balls are huge. Like, no. So she tweeted this thing out, and the media then started claiming, here's what they said. In this CNN clip, they said she cited that reason as to why she's not getting vaccinated, which is not true. Now, I got to say, I actually had, let's say, minor argument with the people with our friends over at Timcast.com talking about the article that was written up, because the original headline was like, Nicki Minaj says she won't get vaccinated to attend the Met Gala or something. And then people were like, that's not a fair headline. And I don't agree with the framing either. And we talked about it. So here's what's true. Nicki Minaj said, the Met Gala wants you to get vaccinated. If I'm going to get vaccinated, it's not going to be for the Met Gala. And so the headline used on Timcast was Nicki Minaj refuses to get vaccine for Met Gala. And I'm like,
technically accurate.
Yeah, but I don't like that because Nicki Minaj said that the reason she's not traveling is because she had a baby. And then she mentioned she's not going, that the Met Gala wanted the vaccines. And if she was going to get the vaccine, it wouldn't be for them. This title, I feel like, makes it seem like she didn't go to the Met Gala because she didn't want to get vaccinated. And so we discussed it, and it's like, look, the headline is true. She said she wouldn't get vaccinated for the Met Gala. Like, I don't know how else we should frame it. Like, make a really long headline, and I'm like, all right, whatever. I defer to your judgment. But some people in the comments posted something, and I'm like, good. You know, I'll let that be known. My thoughts
Nicki
on it.
Minaj won't punch a vax ticket to attend Met Gala.
Punch a vax ticket?
Yeah, get your vax done. Just saying, you can condense it. There was a way to do it, but I hear what you're saying.
I guess the issue is you need the proper context.
Yeah.
The reason she didn't go, she stated, before any of this controversy, somebody was like, why haven't you done an appearance in a year? She goes, I just had a baby. I'm not traveling. Then when they're like the Met Gala, she said they require vax mandate. I wouldn't get it for them anyway. But if you look at the full context of what she's been saying, she didn't go, not because of the vaccine. She even said she would get one to go on tour. She didn't go because she's got a kid and she doesn't want to travel.
Oh.
So now they're claiming one of the reasons she won't get vaccinated is because of swollen testicles. Stephen Colbert did a whole bit. This is the crazy thing that people need to understand. When Sarah Palin was running with McCain, Tina Fey, who I think Tina Fey is brilliant, did this bit where she's like, I can see Russia from my house. Sarah Palin never said anything like that.
Right.
That's ridiculous. What Sarah Palin did say was something like, in terms of foreign policy, you can actually see Russia from the westernmost point of Alaska. And we actually have to negotiate with them on the straight on trade. So I think, this is a major benefit for the office of the presidency. And I'm like, It's actually a really great point. As governor of Alaska, you have that trade route that goes between the Bering Strait or whatever, and that means she has to work with Russia. What happens? A bunch of my friends are like, oh man, like Sarah Palin thinks she could see Russia from her house. I'm like, dude, that was Tina Fey. Like that wasn't real. And that's what we have going on right now. So now, here's why I think this is important. For one, we got, let me shout out some of these people. One person responded with, because Nicki Minaj posted Tucker Carlson. And actually, did I pull that one up? Okay, I don't have that one. She posted Tucker Carlson. Oh, wait, I do have it, yeah, with a bullseye. It's a bullseye over Tucker Carlson's content. And Hassan the Sun says, you know he's a white nationalist, right? Okay, Tucker Carlson is not a white nationalist. That's a lie. And so Nicki Minaj responded to him and other people saying like, dude, I can point out when someone's telling the truth. That doesn't make me political or whatever. And then here's the crazy thing. When multiple news outlets lied about like the swollen testicles thing, she said, y'all are lying about me. And people started saying, Nicki's on the side of the far right, so you know she's wrong. If you question the media, you're far right. That's far right now.
Yeah. Well, look, Nicki is in trouble from the jump. You know why? Because she's Young Money. Young Money, Lil Wayne, Donald Trump.
Yeah, Lil Wayne's based.
No, for real. She's in Young Money with Drake and Lil Wayne and Nicki. And it's very clear Lil Wayne is a Trump guy. They're clearly on a different tip. Whatever tip that is, they're on their own one. And I thought it was admirable, actually, what she said, which is that, like, I'm not traveling because I have a baby. And I may or may not get the vaccine, but I sure as heck aren't getting the vaccine just to go to some stupid party with some lady wearing tax the rich on her butt. So to me, I mean, that all adds up. I do not listen to her music. I probably don't appreciate her values so much. But at the same time, I can see how her associations and her willingness to question the narratives and her willingness to just speak her mind. Wasn't she the one that like saw like her tax bill one day or whatever?
Yeah.
And she's just like going off on the taxes.
Yeah.
I mean, that all makes perfect sense to me. These are just things normal people say. So why is she being singled out? Because she's got millions and millions of followers?
Because
these are just random thoughts, man.
The media is a swamp full of, well, I don't know if piranhas live in the swamps or like rivers and the rainforest. I don't know where they live.
Yeah.
But it is a swamp
Somewhere bad
with some kind of swamp piranha. And if you, look, Nicki Minaj comes out and she said, they don't care about anything she says until she said, pray on it and make the choice for yourself, as we often say. And that is the no-no phrase. I
mean, look, stop me if I go down a road I'm not allowed to go down. But the bottom line for me is that I've come to understand that this is a personal choice. And frankly, I don't know where this is going to go because, I'm sensitive to all these things because I don't want to say the wrong thing. I'm being censored. I'm censoring myself.
It's okay. I mean, that's humanity. You got to censor yourself a little bit as you go.
The point is, it's like, look, it is a personal decision that's now not being allowed to be a personal decision. And that is pretty much the bottom line. When I think about it and I think about whether or not I should do it for myself or my kids should do it for themselves, those are independent questions. If somebody is bullying me into doing it, my first instinct is just be like, nope.
I think the vaccine mandates do that.
Just no.
I've seen tons
do not
of people,
bully me.
Tons of people tweeting now because of the mandate. Okay, if you're going to spill the bottle. Tons of people tweeting now because of the mandate, never going anywhere near any of this stuff.
Yeah.
And you know what the response on the left is? Like, well, you were never going to do it anyway. And
no, that's not true. I would seriously consider. I have all of my vaccines. I just got a pertussis booster.
Oh, my.
Right? Like I had to do that when my kids were being born. We like your moms are the mother-in-laws, the moms, they all had to get a pertussis booster just to come in and see the baby. No one batted an eye at that.
Right. Here's the issue. When someone is like, after 28 years of research and we have this vaccine or whatever, or decades, and then we've come to a legislative decision after many votes and many hearings on it.
That's the key phrase, legislative decision.
Right. Well, when I elect somebody, and they say we're going to have a hearing in the Senate committee on X, and it's having to do with vaccines. I'm like, these are all normal processes that I can watch on TV.
Yep.
Can hear the arguments.
Yep.
And then there's a vote on it, and it's put through a legislative process. I'm like, you got it. When there's long-term data and stuff. So here's my issue right now: is a vaccine mandate by decree. Get out of my face.
Well,
not playing. Well, no. Because
shut up, Ian.
Because
I want to let you finish your thought.
There's no medical exemptions. There's no religious exemptions. And now you can see the government is giving exemptions only when they're scared. Like
to the Postal Service.
No, that's not true. That was debunked.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Sorry.
But the nurses in New York, they were running short on nurses because nurses were refusing to get vaccinated. And then the courts reversed it, saying, okay, if you're a medical worker, you're good now, because they were like, people are quitting and that's critical infrastructure. I'll put it this way. When someone's like, we have hundreds of years of data on like polio, and kids have like a 20% chance of like disability. And like by the time you're 50, you're negatively impacted, and we have this vaccine fine after a long period of time. That I get. When an executive just comes out and says it, and we have no long-term health effects or risk for pregnancy because the FDA insert doesn't include, it's like we don't have data on that. I can respect someone saying, I'm going to wait. You can't come to me and try and get in between me and my doctor. That's my problem with this. That it's like, I honestly think the vaccines are safe. I don't believe a lot of the high, stressed out sensationalism you hear, like swollen balls or whatever. I don't believe it. Sorry. I certainly think there can be adverse events, and some of them probably rare and extreme. Don't get me wrong. But regardless, I'm going to do my research. I'm going to go talk to my doctor. What do we have now? Leftists? These people claiming to be libertarian socialists are anything but, walking in between me and my doctor and saying, shut up, don't listen to him, go get the vaccine. And I'm like, can you get out of my way so I can ask this guy like what he thinks? Because, Howard Stern comes out and he's like, Joe Rogan's doctor's a moron for prescribing him this medication. And I'm like, Howard Stern, you're not a doctor. Huh. Yeah. How are we going to sit here and have them say, you're not a doctor, you didn't do research? And then I'm like, neither did you. So when I tweeted, don't just pull into a parking lot. Go talk to your doctor. Get him on the phone. Ask him the questions you got to ask him. People were like, why would you do that? You're scaring people. I'm like, yo, literally people on the left telling me that I was wrong to suggest people talk to their doctor. That's where we're at.
So a few things there. One, the thing that comes to mind first and foremost here is that there was no legislative process. Okay. Requiring all corporations of 100 employees or more to have their employees be vaccinated sounds to me like a law, right?
It is.
And a law should be negotiated, discussed, debated in public, and voted upon by your representatives that you send to Congress, because it's going to affect basically everybody. 80 million people, I think, is what the target was with that 100 and up corporation law.
I think they said it'll affect 100 million.
100 million? Great, yeah. So what this is a prime example of the way that the administrative state and the judiciary have stripped the legislature of all their power and basically ended our democracy, okay? You have administrative state executive branch agencies that create a rule. Then it basically becomes law. Then somebody files a lawsuit, and the judge rules on whether or not that law is right. That is how, or whether or not that rule is right. That is how laws are being made in America today,
dude.
Independent of the legislature. We do not have a democracy. It is gone. The republic is gone.
Yes.
When the executive branch, administrative offices can make a rule, someone can protest it in the courts, and the courts rule on its validity, and then it becomes law that way, that means our republic is dead. It is dead. It is gone. It is history. And we now must move into a phase, what I've been calling now, refound or die.
So what kind of government do we have?
It's not. We have a technocracy.
It's not a technocracy. Technocracy typically is a reference to rule by technology, right?
No, by technocrats, by people who believe they're experts in their field, that they can scientific method their way to perfection, that they can resolve all human conflict and issues if we just try harder, legislate harder, administer harder.
That's not what we have.
Well, that's what the vaccine is. It's a piece of science.
Technocracy is typically a reference to a rule by those of science,
Google,
and technology.
Facebook banning.
Yeah, that's what CDC is. That's what OSHA's doing.
But Joe Biden making an OSHA rule isn't technocracy. It's something else. It's akin to
tyranny.
Yes. Let's break this down. In the classically liberal democratic fashion, our government works as such. We elect a representative for our area. They go and have a meeting where they draft a bill, say we want this to be law. That goes from their committees into the greater chamber where they vote on it, and then the executive signs off on it or vetoes it. If there's a veto, and this is how most states work and how the federal government works. If they veto it, then you need a greater majority in the legislation to overrule him. Here's how it works today. The executor, the executive, the sovereign drafts a rule to the people saying you must comply. And the people are allowed only if negatively impacted to question that law. And then the courts, as you mentioned, will weigh as to whether or not the negative impact is justified, would justify striking down the executive decree. That's very, very different from My representative drafts a bill. It goes to committee. There's a debate on it. There's hearings. We're at the point right now where Joe Biden has done this on more than one occasion, completely shutting out the legislative and judicial branches. Cuomo did the same thing. So it's more of, you can argue that, well, we still get to elect the president or whatever. Sure, fine, but that doesn't change the fact that there's no democracy when you appoint a sovereign.
I mean, it's basically electing a king. It's basically electing a king is what we're doing. We're electing a king every 4 years, a guy that can just make decrees. He can make decrees that are backed up by his minions and backed up by the courts
and the police.
It's really frustrating and sad and scary. If you want to really learn about it, look up Dr. Marini. This guy has written a tremendous amount on the administrative state, and it happens in every domain. It happens in education. It happens in finance. It happens in healthcare. It happens in security. It happens in policing. It happens everywhere. And it's literally getting worse. I don't know the stats on this, but I'm assuming this is right. Each of the presidents is increasingly using executive orders on top of to best the guy before him. More executive orders, more executive orders, more executive orders. And with Congress at its standstill, there's no legislation. One last point on this. When the legislature was founded in America, they would, the details on the laws would be like 600 tons of this, 42 tons of that, 1,000 feet of this, 10 miles of that. They were as specific as possible. Now it's just like, protect the workers and then let the administrative state figure out how to do that.
Now it's disorderly conduct. You can be arrested for anything.
Yeah.
The cops can walk up and be like, you're being disorderly. You're obstructing justice. Thanks for checking out this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. If you want to see the full show, come back to this channel, youtube.com/TimcastIRL, Monday through Friday at 8 p.m., where you can leave comments and super chat, and we actually will read your comments on the show. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and if you want exclusive members-only content, segments you can't get anywhere else, go to timcast.com, become a member, and we even have full bonus episodes. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all next time.